Japanese. It's Cummings' way of saying it took a Japanese bullet in the head. It took a nipponized piece of the 3rd Avenue L. In those days, there was an elevated train on the 3rd Avenue in New York. So it took a nipponized piece of the 3rd Avenue L in the head to make him believe it. Remember in the story when he talks about the little syllogism from logic, Caius is a man, Caius is mortal. Well, what he's saying is, it is one thing to state as a general principle about the category human beings, considered abstractly, they die. Right. And it is another thing to say about yourself, I die. That's vastly different. Humanity dies, fine, let humanity die, right? It doesn't have anything to do with me. I, Shirley, I, Theo, I, Mike, I, Mark, I, Scott, I, Nick. That's very different. That's not humanity. That's not an abstraction. That's you. And that's unimaginable even for people who have spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. What is that like for somebody who has never actually understood what it meant when he said the phrase? Now, what kind of human being are you if you spend all these years and you never confront the basic reality of the condition in which you live? That's pretty pathetic, right? You know, from the point of view of awareness, you don't even think about it. You act as if it doesn't exist. All right, but Ivan Ilyich has never even dealt with the fact that it could possibly exist. And he's slammed with it. It's this horrible surprise. What happens to him? What's his response? First, he doesn't believe it. He has all these, it's not me, it can't possibly be me. I'm going to go to 12 different doctors. And at a certain point, he actually does understand that it's true. It's very interesting. The first doctor he goes to, he knows that he's actually really very sick. He doesn't trust what the doctor's saying to him at all. And that's Tolstoy's way of saying, you know. Your life says to you, when you are sick that way, you are sick this way. You know it. You naturally know it. Your animal existence tells you. He knows he's very sick as soon as he goes to the doctor, but he plays along because he doesn't want to acknowledge it. What happens at the very beginning? Remember, he gets much more irritable in the house, and he starts having temper tantrums. If something is wrong with any of the decorations in the house, or if the photograph albums, or the table gets scratched, he freaks out. Yeah. And as Shirley says, when he's eating.
When he's eating, yeah. And that was when he was getting sick, or he was sick. That's when he started to go.
Yeah.
Bad taste in his mouth.
Bad taste in his mouth, and bad temperament.
Bad temperament.
Right.
And his wife noticed that.
His wife notices it.
And she noticed it around dinner time.
Yeah, and so at a certain point she just gave up and let him, have his fit. All these things start urging him to pay attention. That's one way we could put it. Or all these problems start making it impossible for him to not pay attention. Because what he wants to do is to not pay attention.
You want to ignore it.
Yeah.
Is that why Cheryl's remark was both correct and disagreed on? She was a good life, but yeah, he never paid any attention to what Tolstoy considered were the important things, the important questions.
Yeah.
That's like the answer to that first question.
Exactly. It's a good life if you look at it from the point of view of easy, pleasant, and decorous. Then it's A+. If you look at it from the point of view of reality, what's this guy's life?
Empty.
F. F.
F.
You get an F. You're just not even in the game, buddy.
He doesn't even like
Let Amanda sit down. Thank you.
You're not even in the game. This guy's not even in the game here, right? What does he... Now, let me ask you a question. Tolstoy has an answer in the story. I'm curious what you folks think the answer is. Why does Ivan spend so much time pushing death away?
Because he's afraid of it.
Pushing death away?
Pushing death away, yeah. Because he's afraid of it. What is he afraid?
I think he feels unfulfilled.
Okay, these are good answers together. I was just going to say, what's he afraid of?
He didn't live life the right way.
He feels unfulfilled. He didn't live it the right way.
That's what he's really down about.
What he's
Like everybody else.
exactly, he lived it like everybody else. So why? How could?
But he knew, as he heard people in the other room, that he got mad at the end. He got mad at all these phony people.
Yeah.
He was mad at listening to them say,
He felt everybody was.
they're in the other room talking about me, I'm going to die. And he was mad that they came in and put the fakeness on
Right.
him. And he realized
He was
at
mad
that
at
point,
himself.
yeah, he realized this was not the right way.
Did he think they were fake before he was sick?
No.
So what is it about being sick?
If you're not
Because
able
you
to
want
stay
somebody
up with
to
that
be
crowd
honest
anymore,
with you.
he couldn't literally do those things that would make him fake in the first place.
That's right.
Reduced to his bed.
So now he's different from them. Now he's reduced to the bare essential fact. He's a dying animal.
I was going to say animal, that's weird.
He's a dying animal. Yeats again talks about being old and being decrepit, and talks about having a mind and feelings tied to a dying animal, like a can tied to a car, tied to a dying animal. His mind and his feelings are tied to this dying animal. That's who Ivan Ilyich is now. And in that condition, when he looks around, and what does he see? Oh, let's play bridge, oh la la la. And then when they come into his room, what do they do when they sit there? They pretend he isn't dying. This is what freaks him out.
You want someone to be honest.
He wants somebody not only to be honest, but also to have compassion. Pity, tenderness, mercy, a touch that says, you are suffering and I know it. What is their response to him? Impatience, revulsion, disgust. Remember his daughter and her fiancé? They're going to the opera, but first they have to look in on their almost corpse dad. Right? And they stand there, and the boyfriend has the opera hat in his hand, and he wants to go, and the girlfriend's there, and the wife is dressed in a ball gown that reveals too much of her breast, and the husband is really angry that she's going looking tarty to the opera, but he can't do anything about it because he urged her to get the dress to begin with, because when he wasn't sick, he thought that was cool, but now, so things are kind of flipping on him. Right? The friendships are flipping, the wife is flipping, the daughter is flipping. Now, this is not simply a matter of life going on without you, right? Which it does. That's not the particular offense which is bothering him. What's bothering him is that no one will acknowledge the truth of his situation. And this, of course, takes you to a central issue for Tolstoy. We've been talking a lot about it in one way or another. What is actually true about your life, as opposed to what everybody wants to pretend? And Tolstoy, like Jesus, Socrates, the Buddha, these guys are all only interested in what is actually true. They don't care about the ways people pretend, except to say that one way of pretending is as destructive to your knowledge of the truth as another. If you're not telling the truth, you're not telling the truth, and it doesn't matter. And if you're not telling the truth, you are disrupting a natural fact about your own life. And something that could happen for you will not, because you are not telling yourself the truth. It's like never learning to read, or never learning to drive. or never learning to talk. Nobody drives automatically. Nobody talks automatically. Nobody reads automatically. You can walk automatically. Nobody has to teach you to walk, but somebody has to teach you to talk. If nobody teaches you to talk, you will never talk. If nobody teaches you to tell you the truth about your life, you will never do it. Ivan Ilyich is a moral imbecile.
And he is, and everybody around him.
And everyone around him. They're all moral imbeciles.
And his kids, though.
Well, they're all afraid to be different.
And they're all afraid. And now the question is, of course, now what has happened in this world? Why is it the case that nobody can read the moral handwriting? What's happened to these people?
Well, it's even like today. What's happened is we get caught up in these, you see ads on TV and you see a nice car and you think the guys, I mean, today we see, you see a guy drinking a beer and it's like, oh, that's what we got to do. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
So today it's the commercials and and going back to that point, it was pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, they're
What they're selling.
pleasure, ease, decorum. This is what they're doing instead of telling the truth about their lives. Why?
Because struggle is the law forever.
Yes,
Yes.
because to tell the truth about your life is hard,
Yeah.
humbling, indecorous, unpleasant. It is everything that these people don't want to be. So why would we want to do that? Now, the fact is that no more people were telling themselves the truth about their life when Jesus walked the earth, or when Socrates walked the earth, or when Buddha walked the earth, or when Confucius walks the earth. The point in Tolstoy isn't that there was some time when people were all moral. Tolstoy's point in the story is pretty clear, right? We're all like Ivan Ilyich. Everybody has trouble with this issue. Everybody would prefer what is easy, what is pleasant, and what is decorous to the hard problem of facing what it means for your life that it will end in pain and physical disgrace. Nobody actually wants to deal with that. But if they don't, they will be inauthentic forever. And a very crucial faculty will not develop. Now, why are these people not dealing with it? Because their church has failed them, number one. Because their church has told them, you don't have to think about death. Death is just closing your eyes and waking up in heaven with angels. Some species of complete fraud, right? The church has failed them. Their philosophers have failed them. Their government has failed them. Their thinkers have failed them, right? The people who are responsible for requiring them to deal with this fact all won't ask them to deal with it. Of course they won't deal with it.
Professor, I want to ask you a question. You just said, and maybe I got it wrong. I go to church, I believe in, we die and we go to heaven.
Right.
Okay, so I feel that, I have faith, but yet I do like nice things, and
Right.
There's nothing wrong with liking both.
No, there's nothing wrong in believing you're dying and going to heaven and liking nice things. The issue is, have you actually dealt with the fact of your death? Or are you shoving it under the rug of I'm going to heaven?
I personally.
Right. So, well, no, but this is what Tolstoy's urging on people. Now let's go back and see what happens for Ivan. What happens for Ivan? He doesn't want to deal with it, and he keeps pretending it's not real. He vacillates between two states of mind, he says, right? Oh, it's a floating kidney, or it's, I love his hatred of doctors is very comic in this story, right? They never know what it is. It's a floating kidney, it's the appendix, it's catarrh, it's this, it's that. Or, no, it's death. Notice, death is very different from any particular disease.